Good evening, all. Welcome to another TRSB Sports podcast. Myself, Shane B. Pleasure to have on board this evening Conah the Wolf Walker, pro boxer. How are you doing, mate?
Yeah, all good, mate. Yourself?
Not too bad, not too bad. Surviving. Easter weekend, nice weather, can't complain. Normally what I do is just like yourself, you probably have a bit of a warm-up before you get into your boxing. So I like to do a little bit of a warm-up questionnaire, really, just to get you going. So we start off with a simple one, really. What do you prefer, bacon butty or a cheeseburger?
Bacon butty, man.
Costa or a Starbucks?
Costa.
For the roast Sunday dinner, roast pork or roast beef?
Beef.
What football team do you support?
Wolves.
The Wolves. What football team do you dislike the most?
West Brom.
West Brom, I thought it might be. So with the Wolves, then you're quite close to Europe, aren't they, this season? That they might get conference. At one point, they was quite close to the Champions League, weren't they?
Yeah. Doing pretty well, to be fair.
And what do you think of the new manager? What's his name? Bruno Lagers?
To be honest with you, I don't really follow it mega. I'll go to a few of the games and stuff, but I'm not like a massive diehard fan, to be honest with you.
Not a diehard, that's all right.
No.
So what I was going to say was I want to talk about some up and coming fights as well, potential up and coming fights. One's already been, but there's talk of a rematch. I don't understand why the rematch might take place, but Amir Khan and Kell Brooks. I think you've sparred with Brooks, haven't you? Or shared a ring with him?
Yeah, I sparred with Brooks a couple of times. Yeah,
so how do you feel about them actually having a rematch in the first place? Do you think it's just a waste of time?
I mean, the first fight was a shut off when it was shut down. So I just see the same fight fucking happening, but just being ended quicker, to be honest with you. I feel like if Amir Khan does take the rematch with him, I feel like he's only taking it for the money, man, because he was shot in there for me. He didn't bring nothing to the table there. His speed was gone. He was all over his front foot, and he just wasn't the same Khan. I just think just knock it on the head. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Did it not surprise you, sort of like how poor Khan was going into that fight? Or how
I thought it was a 50-50 fight. I thought I normally have a little bet, just 5-10 quid either way, like, do you know what I mean? But I didn't. I just thought, I can't pick a guy to win this. But then that happened. I was flabbergasted.
Yeah, it was like Brooks really bullied him, didn't he? Sort of like he got on top of him, and it looked like early doors, round 2, round 3 in. It was only going to go one way, and I think that was a big surprise for myself. So I think you answered the question already in relation to the rematch. No point.
No point, I don't think. I mean, Khan said he wants to jump back in there and carry on. Might not just be the rematch. He might go against. I mean, he might be better off picking someone like a bit past it, or do you know what I mean? Around here. I mean, he's saying that Brooks' age, but someone who he can beat. Not none of the top fighters. I don't think he should be stepping in there with any of the top fighters. I think like a Conor Benn fight for him would be good. Obviously that's good for Conor Benn, not for him. But I think, to be honest, I wouldn't like to see him fight again. I'd like to just hang his boots up. Yeah,
I think based on the Brooks sort of result, I don't think I'd fancy him going in the ring with Ben, to be honest. But that brings me on to the second question. Again, it's about Brooks. How do you think he fares against Ben?
I think that's a tough fight, man. A very tough fight. But I think Ben's speed and accuracy is just the last few fights he's shown. I think I like Conor Benn as well. I think he's he dropped me a couple of messages after the last fight, and we had a good chat on that. And I think I'm sort of rooting for him, to be honest with you. So I think I'll just go with him just because I'm rooting for him. But I think it's 50-50.
Yeah, I think Ben's quite tenacious, isn't he? I think he's got the bit between the teeth at the minute. It almost feels like if he gets you, he's not going to let you off the hook. And it's whether Brooks could keep up with that. But then saying that, like you say, 50-50, I think Brooks showed to a lot of people that he's still got a bit left in the tank.
Yeah.
And if he was to come out on top of that fight, or either one was to win that fight, that potentially, would you say, sets them up for an eliminator fight, or even a potential title fight?
That could be eliminator. I think that's pretty. I think they're both pretty highly ranked. So I think that could be eliminator. Potential eliminator, yeah, definitely. But like when I sparred Brook, that was only sort of like last year, and he's still, his time is there, his power's there. Like, do you know what I mean? He's good. Like he's still got everything there. He's only been beat by the top level fighters. So people, the average Joe will just write him off because they see him getting knocked out or stopped by the likes of Golovkin or Errol Spence. These lads are like, well, Golovkin's like two weights above him. Errol Spence is obviously top of his game. And did he fight Errol Spence, or was it Crawford? We fought Errol Spence and Crawford.
Crawford, yeah.
But these guys are the only people that he lost to are world top level fighters. So people are just writing him off because of them losses. I don't think that you should write him off. He's still fit, strong. He still comes in hell of a shape. You know what I mean? I think he still does things.
Yeah, I think Crawford is really like pound for pound, like the top fighter out there, to be honest. And I think if he fought Golovkin at his weight, if Golovkin come down a couple of weights, that could have well been a different fight in respect to that one. I'll move up a couple of weights then. I'll move on to the Dillian Whyte and Fury fight. Firstly, what's your thoughts on the way the press conferences are going or not going? What's your sort of like outlook on that? Why is it going that way? It's all a bit
surreal, isn't it? That had the makings to be like a massive build up and some real tasty stuff going on in the press conferences and whatnot. But obviously Dillian Whyte must not have been happy. I've seen a few clips and whatnot. Dillian Whyte must not have been happy with their sort of side of the deal that wasn't pulling their weight or whatnot. And I think I like Dillian Whyte. I think he wouldn't be telling porkies. I mean, they must have obviously stepped on his toes a bit and obviously made him do the things he does and just kept his mouth, like you know what I mean, silenced him. But like, I think that it's just killed the fight for me a little bit. I wish they would have done it the proper way, got in there, done the press conference all around the world. They would have killed it with views and whatnot.
I wonder if, like, for instance, just because the way it has gone, if that's almost a bit more sort of anticipation for people as to what's actually going to happen. It's like when Dillian Whyte actually turns up, when he turns up for the fight, I think I have a feeling he's probably going to be in the best shape of his life if you think how long he's had to wait for that shot. In respect to the actual fight and the way it pans out, I think the majority of people that I've spoke to are all Tyson. And if I'm looking at it from like a normal head, I'm thinking, yeah, that's probably the way to go. But in respect to that fight, the way it pans out, I watched your fight recently with Antwi, and to me, it would almost feel that Dillian would almost have to take a very similar method to what you did in that fight, like almost having to go and close the distance, close the gap, and work inside and catch him coming out or catch him coming in. You'd say that's the same?
I think definitely he needs to stay on his chest, just roll, make things messy, because Fury, we all know what he's about. He can box, he can move, he can fight, he can just do everything. Obviously, Tyson Fury is just Tyson Fury, isn't he? I spent, when I was up at Hatton's, I watched. I mean, three camps. He was up there, and I watched him spar, and I can count on one hand how many times he got punched in sparring, like when I was watching, and it's just, he must be so tricky for them. But the only thing you can do is just make things rough and horrible for him, because you can't box the man. He's a 6 foot odd. Do you know what I mean? He moves like moves like a welterweight, and you know what I mean. He's 20. Like how much is he? 18 stone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's funny when he beat Klitschko. I was speaking to someone, and I was speaking to someone who didn't really know much about him at the time. And when he beat Klitschko, I said, you know what? It's like watching a giant Ali. When he fought in that fight, you just didn't expect it, and he still maintained that sort of style. So you've got to give all credit to Tyson for obviously what he's been through previously, and to be able to come back and maintain what he does. So are you going with a Fury winning that one, or do you think there's the potential of a shock?
Yeah, Fury points. I don't think he's talking of retirement after this as well. Talking about coming out undefeated and whatnot. So it's going to take some man to beat him. Sort of, if that's the way he wants to go. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think
Dylan Wise, he can't write the man off. He pulls some magic tricks out the box all the while, doesn't he? So, and that left hook, he only has to catch you once with that.
yeah, there's many people that have felt that left hook and have gone down, and that's the thing. Like we say, I think it's one of those ones. He's either going to try, he's going to have to get in close. He's going to have to like make it messy. If he hurts him to the body a few times, I think with the heavyweights, it's 50-50 at the end of the day. Although someone's will be like odds on. Yeah, someone's odds on, but it's one of those. For him to retire after that one, I can't quite see that quite happening. I'm sure he will want to finish off undisputed. I can't see him, whatever he says at the minute, I can't believe that he will come out.
Sometimes he doesn't even know what he's going to do himself, does he? That's the thing. So I'm with you on that one. I don't think he will. But
so then the final one in this part here, just AJ and Usyk. I think a lot of people that I've spoken so far are a bit dismissive of Joshua. They're saying, yeah, it's definitely going to go the way it did the first time, or it might come out even worse for Joshua. I've got a different opinion on that one. What do you think of that one?
It doesn't even excite me, to be honest with you, the fight itself. It doesn't excite me. I don't know why. I just feel like Usyk will be Usyk and box how he boxes. And he won't knock Joshua out. Joshua's got a possibility of knocking him up, but he's going to catch him. It's like the guy doesn't stop moving and fainting. He's ridiculously good. People, the average boxing fan doesn't see what he does. Like the things he does is cute and he's just all. I can sympathise with Anthony Joshua just because you can realise how horrible he is to be in the ring with, because he's a southpaw, he's a mover, he doesn't stop fainting, he's just got skills. Do you know what I mean? So he's against it. He's definitely against it. But I feel with that weight, you can use your man strength and you can bully these sort of littler fighters, and you put them next to each other and you can see the size difference. So if he had a good game plan, sort of like the game plan Fury had with Wilder, and just come forward and take the sting out of everything, let it go past you and just stick it on him, keep him sort of in the corner, he's got a chance. But if he goes in the same as he did last time, it's just going to be a shutout again.
Yeah, I think to myself, I think this one might be a case where he has got to work out how to cut Usyk off. And like I said, Usyk's got the footwork and he can move. But there must be a way in which you can sort of like corner him, get him close and catch him coming out or going in. And again, just like Fury and Dylan White, I think it might be a fight. We just need to make it messy, and then use his strength, use his power, either coming in or coming out. So you're going Usyk on that one?
I'm going Usyk, yeah. If Joshua comes in with the same mentality, but like I say, them heavyweights, man. I'm a rubbish person to ask for fight winners, man, because I can just see the good that people do in like, do you know what I mean? And all these fights that you ask me, they're all 50-50 fights, apart from like your Fury and your White. I wouldn't say that's 50-50, but like that fight there, that's a 50-50 fight. Because Joshua's got his weight and his power, whereas Usyk's got his skills and his movement. So it's all on the day.
Yeah, it's what I think it'd be an interesting one to find out. But that's about them and about the other boxers. It's more about a bit about yourself now. So when was it when did you actually put the gloves on? When was it you started? When did you get into the game?
18, I did. 18 years old, yeah. 27 sort of next month now, so 9, 10, 9 years roughly. Started the amateurs 18. I used to play rugby. I used to play sort of decent level rugby and sort of done boxing with the rugby. To sort of just for fitness, decided to give it a go. And yeah, sort of I haven't really took my foot off the pedal since. I haven't had no long layoffs or time off. I've sort of always kept on. I've had a couple of weeks off after my fight and I'm straight back in the gym. So I had 33 amateurs. I won 2 national titles. Won like a couple of box around the world of Sweden. Won like a box cup there and think different things like that. And yeah, won about I think I won 3 or 4 about four Midlands titles or something. And then we turned over, went with Ricky Hatton, and was up there for about 2 years, 3 years, 2 and a half, 2 years.
So it
And now
was
we were again for about a year and a half. So I think I've been pro for about 3.5 years now.
so it was like I think I read something. It's like 30 wins out of 33 fights in amateurs. So
Yeah,
this ain't a
that's it.
shabby record. Of the amateurs that you fought, are any of those at a higher level at the minute, or do you mean have you crossed their path again yet, or
That Harry Scarf is one of the ones I lost to be honest. Harry
right?
Scarf, and yeah, he's one of the ones that are sort of coming through. But sort of not now. I can't think of any. There's a few that are sort of coming through on my level, but there's none sort of surpassed me at the minute. So I think I'm happy with sort of where I am.
So when you turned pro, then obviously to go with Ricky Hatton, how did that come about? How did they approach you? I'm guessing.
There was a reporter. There's a reporter around by us called Matthew Bosniak or something. He's a good man to be fair, and he'd always write the write ups on me all for the amateurs and see how I'm getting on and come and watch and whatnot. He was in touch with Mike over at Hatton's. He's one of his mates. He's mentioned me, and they've sort of said, "Do you want to come up for a trial?" Went up for trial, and then sort of yeah, that was that, and we sort of started to turn over. I had a good year and a half there, and then things didn't work in terms of myself in terms of work, and I wanted to buy a house. Um, and I was up there. I was traveling up there Monday, coming back Friday, so I was only having the weekend down here. I couldn't set my groundwork, so it was like I need to get back and focus on a few things, and I've done what I've set out to do, and I found a coach down here, which is Rich again, and he's wicked, and we've clicked straight away, and things are going well.
With that initial going in with Hatton, obviously you would have known all about his history, what he was as a fighter. What kind of knowledge or experience was he sort of passing on to you, or what was you getting out of Ricky?
Yeah, just obviously the things he's achieved. Everyone knows what he's achieved, and you can't help but be inspired. And the way he fought was sort of I've took a lot away from his game before I moved over to him. I was watching him and then body shots and stuff like that. So all these things here that I was studying all for the amateurs, I sort of was there and I can ask my questions that I've always had in my head, which is good.
Yeah, it must have been amazing, really. Like, as I say, like from an amateur boxer to know someone's history and pedigree like that, and then to actually have the chance or opportunity to actually work with them and be in the same environment. In itself, just that alone, did that sort of give you that kind of drive to want to achieve more? Or, it's like if you might as well call him a legend. If you're a legend, you want to sort of like just show them exactly what you've got and give as much as you can. Did it feel like that?
Yeah, it was great, mate. Obviously, like you say, you got Ricky. Ricky was sort of there, and you're in the presence of greatness. Not just Ricky, because that gym, like I say, Billy Joe done two camps there. Fury done 3 camps while I was there. You've got the likes of Usyk walking in the gym. Do you know what I mean? When he come over to fight over here a few years ago, and like all these top level fighters that you can only sort of have ever watched on TV, they just walk in the gym willy nilly, and you meet them and talk to them, and you just see in the flesh. So everything becomes real, and all them years that you've dreamt of being where these guys are, and they're in front of you, and it's surreal. But then it becomes normal because, like, at the end of the day, I mean, I'm a professional boxer now, and I can only aspire to be like them now. But I am them because I'm a professional boxer. Do you know what I mean?
And,
So
yeah, and then you're fighting on some of the biggest stages as well. But I was just thinking, obviously, Rick Hatton's got his boy, his Campbell Hatton. What do you see for Campbell? What do you see his progression?
I think he's improved. I think it's got to be hard for him because starting out the pro game with the level of expectation that he's got with his dad's name, and then getting chucked straight in at the deep end in these massive shows, it's gotta be hard because he's living up to the expectation. And so then first few fights, like I was thinking like everyone else, like, oh, it was too early. He needs a bit more work, but then he's shown last couple of fights that he's making the improvement. So I hope he does well because he's a good kid. I hope he sort of does well and succeeds.
And I think it's hard sometimes for if you're like the son of like someone famous, say whether you're a Eubanks or whether you're a Conor Ben or, for instance, you're Hatton, because you get a lot of people say, well, they get the moves and they get the jump ahead of people because of their dad or the this or that. And then on the other hand, they've still got to prove themselves. Do you mean? So I think that's the difficult one for them. So you obviously split with Hatton. Obviously, like you said, you explained you had to get back to Wolverhampton to, i.e., work and sort of like get your house in order. So you've teamed up with Rich again, and then at 10 fights, you're a Midlands area champion, and you're then looking at, I suppose, potentially what was the biggest fight today was the Samuel Antwi fight on the Eubanks and Williams undercard. With that fight, was it something you knew that was coming, or was it sort of like out of the blue, said, look, we can get you on? How did that work out?
We asked for it. We seen things in Andrew's game that we thought we could exploit. It didn't work out. We got experience. We got a good 10 rounds under the belt, and I ticked a few boxes, which I always knew I had. But it's always nice just to get it out there and get it done. So I've had 2 good 10 rounders now. Won one, lost one. But at the end of the day, I'm the sort of fighter that I am going to have a couple of losses because that's the way I fight. I like a tear up. I like a fight. We are trying to fix that now and work on my defense a bit. But if I'm in a fight and someone comes and wants to have a fight with me, it's very hard for me to turn a fight down because I do love a tear up. So it's going to happen, I think, through my career. But I'll always box and get work because I'm exciting, and I know that. So it's one of them.
To be honest, it was the best fight of the night. To be honest, if you look back at it now and you look at the fights throughout the night, it was easily the best fight of the night. And in relation to maybe like the points I scored and everything, I think from like the interviewers and the people that were by the ring, a lot of them were saying it could have went either way, depending on how you looked at it. So it definitely weren't a poor showing in any way, shape or form. But with the training camp, how did that camp, you think, go? Because, I mean, you went for the 10 rounds, it didn't really let up. So I'm guessing that all went well, the camp.
The camp went well, but it was stop-start because it was meant to be December the 11th. Then we found out the day before, 2 days before, that we're not fighting on that date. So then it's got pushed back to December 29th. So then we sort of slowed down for a week, got back into camp through Christmas. So yeah, I had to be real strict about through Christmas, and then obviously it got cancelled again till February. So it was a bit annoying, but I just remained professional and yeah, it obviously paid dividends because I was still there in the 10th round, still had tanks, still had gas. So and I think I won the last 2 rounds. I feel like I won the fight in all honesty, but it's one of them. It is what it is.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. So from how I looked at the fight and saw the fight, it looked like the game plan was pretty much to. I'm guessing he's considered quite a slick fighter. Fights from the outside. He likes to sort of control the tempo, and it looked like the game plan from yourself was to take all that away from him.
That's it. Yeah, stay on his chest and make him work where he didn't want to work, and just take the sting out of the punches by staying that bit closer. But you know, fair play to him. He was good. And I think he will go on to do big things because, yeah, like I think I could see why he's avoided. In all honesty, he's avoided. I mean, he had like three guys sort of not take the mandatory, and I can see why. He can tap a bit, and obviously giving room. He's brilliant. But I think if I fight him again, it'll be a shutout.
Well, I found it like really hard to try and score it because I watched it back again today because I watched it first time round, and for me it could have went either way. It's the way judging is at the minute. I just couldn't have called it. No one took it by storm. No one was like 3-4 ahead. So that's how it looked like. You answered my question in respect to asking, do you think he can go anywhere? You've answered one of the questions already. I think like you said, you thought that you won the fight. With him, how do you think he fares against someone like Marku, Marku? How does he fare in that one? Because Marku is someone who's out there, isn't he, at the minute? He's making waves.
I think he beats him.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah. I think Marku got his head boxed off by Chris Jenkins until Jenkins got caught. He got his head boxed off and he got exploited there. I mean, I'd love that fight. I'd take that fight tomorrow. I was pushing for that fight a few months ago. Nothing got through, so I sort of just knocked it on the head. But I think as soon as Marku comes against a good boxer at his own weight, he'll get unstuck.
Yeah, I think you've got this habit of keep answering my questions before I'm asking them. So I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, we have Chris Jenkins on a lot on the show, and it was like he said, we spoke to him recently after the fight. I think, and he was like, he felt more disappointed for letting his team down. I think because, like you say, he was boxing and working and winning, and like he said, it's one of these things. Boxing, it can be a beautiful game. It can be a shitty game as well. And with the likes of Marku, it is almost like you've got to have a good 12 rounds. You can't slip at any point. So you think Antwi's got the ability to do that then, to stay out of the way?
Yeah, definitely. I think he stops. I think he stops him before the 12 rounds. In all honesty, because he was getting caught there with shots. That with Antwi, I think Antwi's a heavy hitter, so I think he could, because Marku wouldn't box the way I box with him. He would box with him, and Antwi's a boxer. He's a boxer. He's a slick boxer, whereas Marku is like a unorthodox switch hitter, in and out, moving. But like a good traditional boxer, I think beats him.
Right. To be honest, I would love to see you fight Marku. I think it'd be a proper tear up. To be honest, that's the sort of fight that we'd all like to see. You've got your fight coming up 6th of May. You've got a fight coming up.
Yeah.
So you got back on yours. Obviously, like with the defeat, it's not. There's nothing wrong with having a loss these days. I mean, I think there's too much emphasis on like people keeping the O's, but I think people keep these O's through fighting people that they are gimmies, that they know they're going to get a result against. And where do you want to be sort of a year from now? What are you aiming to do and who to fight? Because obviously you've got the likes of Jenkins out there, you've got Congo out there, you've got Mikey McKinson out there, all sort of fighters who no doubt you'd like to have a go with.
Yeah, I mean, I've started from the off. I think I fought four journeymen. Then I jumped into undefeated fighter. Then I fought another undefeated fighter. I think I fought 5, 6 undefeated fighters, all winning records. So that's what I want to do. I want real fights. And the plan is now our next fight's at 10-4. So we're looking to bring it down, do super lightweight, have a little dabble of it, see how I get on. Push for titles there, and when I get a bit older, say when I go 30, say just bring it back up to welterweight and just crack on. But while I'm still while I'm still a bit younger, like 20, 26, 27, I feel like I can do I can do light welter. So I'm gonna have a stab at that and see where that goes.
And probably the power to cause a bit of damage at that weight as well.
That's it, yeah. The thing is, I'm a small welterweight. In all honesty, I'm not small, as in like I'm quite like quite heavy built. So I've never been at my depth with any welterweight or moving to super welterweight, or do you know what I mean? I've never been at my depth, but I've never had an advantage. I never give myself the advantage because people are coming down from all weights, but I can make welter. I can make welter next week if I wanted 2 or 3 weeks. Do you know what I mean? So a bit more dedication and discipline. I'll get myself down to lightweight, and I think I'll be a real dangerous boxer.
It's funny. We had like Maylis Gangloff, like female French boxer on bantamweight, who fought Ebony Bridges, and like Ebony Bridges was like, do you mean it's almost like 2 weights above her, and Maylis Gangloff, in my eyes, won the fight sort of thing. And we had this similar conversation. She was like, every person I fight is like so much bigger than me, and she's taking the decision now to go down the weight. And I think it's the same with her. I think she will pick up a title at that weight because she gives so many people problems who are physically bigger than her. And yeah, potentially I reckon that's probably the same thing for yourself. So that'd be great to see you do that and to go through that sort of journey. Obviously, we'd love to catch up with you just before, obviously, your fight. Obviously, we'll let you get into your training camp and sort of crack on with that. But yeah, it would be lovely to catch up with you some point before the fight. Just with the training, we do like a little bit of a warm down as well come the end. So jam donut or custard donut?
Depends what day it is, man.
Oh, do you know what? I'm surprised. I'm jam donut all day long. I couldn't even believe there was
a good custard donut it's a spot as well. That's the thing. I'm just gonna go jam just because obviously jam's jam donut, but like custard donuts up there, man.
If you had to support Leeds or Man United?
Leeds probably, because my uncle's from over there.
And shish kebab or doner kebab? Obviously, you don't do this regularly, but when you have got time to eat what you like.
Shish kebab, doner kebab. What's a shish kebab like? It's Indian.
Shish kebabs are like the lumps. So you get the lumps of lamb or chicken on the skewer, or the doner, the one they cut off the thingy.
Mix, that's what I like. I like the mixed ones. I'll have them both.
Perfect. And finally, then, anyone you want to sort of like give a shout out to your team, your supporters, anyone before we wrap it up?
I just want to say massive thanks to my sponsors. Most of the sponsors have sort of been around and stuck by me for years, man. So like, I just want to give big props to them and all the people that buy tickets. That's without them guys, they wouldn't be professional boxers. So yeah, man, thanks to everyone like that.
Lovely. Well, I'll tell you
thank
what,
you to yourself for putting me on the channel and getting it out there. Yeah.
No worries. Absolute pleasure to have you on this evening. You've probably got things to do this evening, so I'll let you go. But like I say, what I'll do is I will catch up with you just before your next fight, and we'll see how you're getting on. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Nice one. Nice to meet you.
Lovely. You take care, mate.
Cheers, mate. See you in a bit.
So, bye.